At the heart of a bustling coastal town, where waves whispered tales of endless possibilities, lived Maya, a young artist whose hands could capture the essence of a soul on paper. Every day, she sat on her weathered wooden pier, surrounded by her meager collection of pencils and sketchbooks, offering to draw portraits of passing tourists for what they considered fit. Her talent was undeniable, yet she saw herself as nothing more than another struggling artist, barely making ends meet. The salty wind carried stories of success and dreams realized. Yet Maya felt very disconnected from any such possibilities. Her drawings were exquisite, capturing not just appearances but the very spirit of her subjects. Yet, she prized her work as though it were mere scribbles, often accepting less than what a cup of coffee would cost. Her talent spoke volumes, but her voice of self-doubt spoke louder. On one especially sunny afternoon, with gold light dancing on the waves, a sophisticated lady stopped and watched Maya at work. Not like the usual tourists, requesting in a rush for portraits, this observer stood in silent regard, examining not just the artwork, but the artist herself. The woman carried an air of quiet confidence about her as her silver hair shone in the sun and her eyes reflected wisdom earned through years of experience. "Why do you sell such beautiful art for so little?" the woman finally asked, breaking the rhythm of waves and seagull cries. Maya looked up, startled by the question and genuine curiosity in the tone of the stranger's voice. "It's just sketches," Maya replied, her ready response on her lips, "nothing special." The woman introduced herself as Elena and explained that she had an art gallery in the city. "Your art isn't just sketches," he said, firm yet kind. "What I see here are stories caught upon paper, pieces of life preserved through your eyes." Elena resumed her own story, one that resonated deep in Maya's soul. She, too, had once been a street artist, thinking the work was of little value. "The difference between then and now wasn't my skill," Helena explained, her hands motioning toward the horizon. "It was my perception of value. What we believe about ourselves becomes our reality. Your art isn't just about lines on paper. It is about capturing an instant, keeping the memory alive forever." These words planted a seed in Maya's mind, one that would grow to change everything. Over the next week, she started to look upon her artwork differently. Every stroke of her pencil was done with a purpose, every shadow a choice, every highlight a decision. She began to invest in higher quality materials to increase her prices, but more importantly, she began creating complete stories with her portraits. It did not happen overnight or painlessly. Some would-be clients walked away when they heard her new prices, but those who remained found something more in what she was offering. They weren't buying simple drawings anymore. They were buying a piece of their lives, transcribed into art through a view of the world unique to Maya. With every positive response, with every person seeming to see this new value in her, her confidence grew. 3 months later, Maya stood in Elena's gallery, her work professionally displayed for the first time. What had once been in complicated portraits had grown into visual stories which spoke volumes, with each piece having something to say beyond appearance. People weren't buying art. They were connecting with the emotions and moments she had captured on paper. The transformation wasn't in Maya's artistic ability. That had always been there, waiting to be acknowledged. The change was actually within the way she looked upon herself and her craft. When she actually began believing in her worth, others did see it, too. Her income increased, but more importantly, her satisfaction in her work deepened. She was no longer just making sketches, but creating art that touched people's lives. The gallery opening marked a turning point in Maya's story. Watching people engage with her work, discussing the emotions it evoked, and the stories it told, she realized that Elena's words had been true. Success wasn't about changing who she was. It was about recognizing who she had always been. Her talent hadn't suddenly improved. Her belief in herself had. Looking back at her journey from the pier to the gallery, Maya realized that the biggest obstacle had been her own self-perception. The same hands that created sought-after artwork now were the ones that had drawn just sketches on the pier. The difference lay not in skill but in belief, not in ability but in self-worth. The story has a powerful message that's deeper than the art alone. Your potential is inside you, like a seed waiting to be recognized and pursued. It's not what people think you're worth, it's what you believe you could become. You water that seed with belief and nurture it with action, and watch it grow into something beautiful and priceless. Perhaps the most important journey we can take is that from self doubt to self belief. We are all, like Maya, carrying with us hidden talents and abilities we have dismissed as nothing special. But what if we're wrong? What if, like Maya's simple sketches, those capacities are gifts and waiting to be recognized and developed? Your worth isn't defined by the present, but through your belief in what you can be. Whether you're an artist, entrepreneur, teacher, or dreamer, the principle remains the same. When you believe in your value, you give others permission to see it too. It is not a question of whether you have something valuable to offer. It is whether you are ready to identify and share that value with the world. So ask yourself, what seed of potential are you ready to nurture? What talent have you dismissed as nothing special that might actually be your gift to the world? Remember, every master was once a beginner who dared to believe in their potential. Your journey to success begins with believing in your worth, just as Maya's did on that sunny afternoon by the pier. In the end, Maya's story teaches us that the greatest limitations are not external, but the boundaries we place on ourselves. When we dare to believe in our worth, when we value our unique gifts, the world responds in kind. Your journey of self-discovery and growth is waiting. All it takes is the courage to see yourself not as you are, but as you could be.